Founding Faith, published in 2008, is a meticulously researched historical nonfiction book by American journalist Steven Waldman. Rather than accepting simplistic narratives about the religious views of the American founding fathers, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, Waldman delves into their true beliefs and aims to uncover the founders' intentions when shaping the foundation of the United States. Before delving into his extensive research, Waldman introduces two dominant and opposing narratives concerning the founders' religious views, which he later deconstructs. The first narrative, often embraced by the contemporary Christian right, asserts that the founders were uniformly and openly Christian, thus intending to establish the United States as an explicitly Christian nation. In contrast, the opposing narrative, supported by evidence like the First Amendment and certain unconventional beliefs held by some founders, argues that America's builders merely paid lip service to traditional Christianity and were, in fact, deists or even non-believers. Deism, in this context, involves the belief that a supreme force, akin to a distant clockmaker, created the universe and then abandoned it to operate on its own. Waldman contends that both of these narratives oversimplify the diverse range of belief systems held by the Founding Fathers. While some, like Patrick Henry, Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and John Witherspoon, adhered closely to Christian orthodoxy, others, such as Benjamin Franklin, explored various religions throughout their lives, including polytheism. Thomas Jefferson, despite his deep admiration for Jesus' teachings, held strong reservations about Christianity and even undertook the task of editing the Gospels to align them more closely with his own convictions. Similarly, John Adams, a devout Unitarian, did not mince words when criticizing the beliefs of other Christian denominations. However, despite the wide spectrum of religious views among the Founding Fathers, Waldman argues that the evidence does not support the idea that they intended to establish America as a Christian or monotheistic nation. If their intent had been to create such a nation, it would have likely been explicitly articulated in the Constitution. Instead, the founders enshrined the concept of religious freedom in the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Thomas Jefferson's interpretation of this amendment would later be summarized as advocating for the separation of church and state. Waldman emphasizes that a significant factor contributing to this emphasis on religious freedom was the widespread religious persecution that many of the founders had either witnessed or learned about in the 13 colonies. James Madison, in particular, was deeply troubled by the persecution of Baptists in his home state of Virginia, where numerous Baptist preachers had been imprisoned between 1760 and 1778. Although Madison held some deist beliefs and criticized the establishment of religious states, Waldman suggests that it was not Enlightenment principles from Europe but the first-hand experiences of religious persecution in Virginia that influenced Madison most profoundly. George Washington's religious views present a fascinating and somewhat enigmatic case, with both sides of the contemporary debate over America's Christian origins vying to associate him with their position. This complexity arises from the fact that Washington was a member of the Freemasons, a fraternal order that professes belief in a supreme being, a belief rejected by many Orthodox Christians. In his writings, Washington carefully avoided denominational language and often referred vaguely to Providence, using this term instead of God or Christ as other writers might. However, Washington also maintained a close relationship with the Christian Church in his Virginia hometown. Additionally, during his time as the commander of the colonial army in the Revolutionary War, he required chaplains to accompany all of his regiments and encouraged his soldiers to attend religious services. Waldman considers these seemingly contradictory pieces of evidence and suggests that Washington's strong convictions about religious freedom likely led him to join the Freemasons, rather than the other way around. In essence, Washington's religious views were too intricate for either side of the debate over America's Christian identity to claim him definitively as their own. After thorough examination of the evidence, Waldman concludes that the founding faith was neither strictly Christianity nor secularism. Instead, it centered on the principle of religious liberty, a groundbreaking concept that promoted faith by allowing it to flourish without interference. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.